Have you ever considered that the version of yourself you present to the world is not a fixed monument, but a script that is rewritten every single night in the dark? Have you ever noticed that fleeting, strange moment just before you lose consciousness, where your thoughts cease to be logical and start to become images, where the room seems to expand or contract, and where you are no longer quite sure where your body ends and the bed begins? This is not just a preamble to rest, it is a doorway. We spend a third of our lives transitioning into sleep, yet we treat this transition as a mere biological necessity, a chore of the body before the mind shuts down. But what if this specific window of time, this liminal space between the waking world and the dream world, was actually the most powerful operating system of your mind, left wide open for programming? Most people pass through this state completely unconsciously, tumbling into sleep with their minds cluttered by the anxieties of the day, the frustrations of the past, or the generic noise of digital distraction. They are, in effect, letting the random debris of their lives dictate the architecture of their identity. But there is a hidden layer to this experience, a state of being that feels deeply familiar once it is named, yet remains largely unexplored by the modern consciousness. It is a state where the rigid barriers of who you think you are begin to dissolve. It is a quiet, powerful threshold where the you that struggles, the you that doubts, and the you that works so hard to change finally steps aside. When you lie there in the stillness, in that heavy, drifting silence, you are entering the most impressionable state a human being can inhabit. It is a recognition of a power you have always possessed, but perhaps never directed. It is the moment when the conscious mind, with all its defenses and its insistence on logic, begins to hand over the keys to the subconscious. In this space, you are not dreaming, but you are no longer awake. You are suspended in a state of pure potential. This is the hypnagogic state, a natural nightly occurrence that serves as a bridge. If you have ever felt a sudden jerk of a limb as you drifted off, or heard a faint sound that wasn't there, or seen patterns of light behind your eyelids, you have stood at the edge of this doorway. It feels like a softening of reality. It feels like the edges of your identity are becoming blurred, like ink dropped into clear water. Most of us ignore it, we fight it, or we rush through it because we are tired. But if you can learn to dwell in that space, even for a few minutes, you gain access to the root directory of your own being. You are no longer trying to change yourself from the outside in. You are beginning to understand that identity is something that can be uploaded, refined, and set into motion while the rest of the world is asleep. It is a recognition, not a persuasion. It is the realization that the most profound shifts in your life don't happen through willpower or force, but through the quiet, precise utilization of this natural mental window. To understand why this state is so significant, we must look at what is happening within the architecture of the brain during these critical minutes. In our waking life, we operate primarily in beta brainwave frequencies. This is the state of alertness, logic, and critical thinking. It is also the state of the ego and the internal critic. In beta, your brain is constantly filtering information, comparing new data against your past experiences, and rejecting anything that doesn't fit your current self-image. When you try to tell yourself you are confident while in a beta state, your brain looks at the evidence of your past and often rejects the thought as a lie. However, as you begin to relax for sleep, your brain waves slow down. You move from beta into alpha, a state of light relaxation and visualization. But the true power lies in the transition from alpha to theta. This transition is what neuroscientists call hypnagogia. In this phase, your brain is oscillating between 4 and 8 cycles per second. This is the same frequency range found in deep hypnosis and profound meditative states, but it happens to you automatically every night. During hypnagogia, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, executive function, and that persistent internal critic, begins to power down. Its grip on reality loosens.
This is why in the moments before sleep, your thoughts often become non-linear or dreamlike. You might find yourself thinking about a work project and suddenly that project morphs into a giant clock, or you hear a voice speaking a sentence that makes no sense. This is a physiological sign that the gatekeeper of your mind is taking its leave. With the prefrontal cortex offline, the barrier between your conscious intent and your subconscious storage is effectively removed. This is not a mystical occurrence. It is a measurable neurological condition characterized by a high degree of suggestibility. In this state, the brain's ability to distinguish between an imagined stimulus and a physical one is significantly reduced. This is why a sudden thought of falling can make your physical body jump. The subconscious mind is wide open, processing imagery, feeling, and language as direct reality rather than abstract ideas. Memory, imagination, and perception begin to overlap in a biological mixing desk. This is where the firewalls of the mind are lowered. Normally, your identity is defended by a complex system of beliefs that protect you from change, even change you want. But in the hypnagogic state, those defenses are dormant. The mind is in a state of hyperplasticity. It is a natural doorway between conscious processing, where we decide what we want, and subconscious processing, where our actual behavior and identity are stored. By understanding the neuroscience of this transition, we move away from the idea that personal transformation is a matter of luck or sheer effort. It becomes a matter of timing. We are looking at a biological window of opportunity that is hardwired into the human nervous system. It is a state of fluid intelligence where the rigid structures of the personality become malleable. When we speak of uploading an identity, we're talking about providing the subconscious with new code at the exact moment it is most ready to receive it, without the interference of the logical mind that would otherwise delete or corrupt the file. This is the scientific reality of the liminal space. It is a period of high bandwidth communication with the parts of your brain that actually control your habits, your emotional responses, and your fundamental sense of self. It is a measurable state of neurological surrender. Once we accept that this window exists, we must ask why it is so much more effective than the methods we use during the day. Most of us have tried to change our lives through sheer force of will. We use affirmations, we make lists, we try to think positive while we are fully awake and alert. The reason these methods often fail, or take an agonizingly long time to show results, is that they are being directed at the firewall of the conscious mind. Your current identity is a survival mechanism. It is a set of programs designed to keep you consistent with who you have been, because who you have been has kept you alive so far. When you are wide awake, your brain is in defensive mode. It protects your current self-concept with incredible efficiency. If you try to visualize a new life while your logical mind is active, you are essentially trying to write new software while the antivirus program is running at full capacity. It sees the new thoughts as foreign or false and rejects them before they can reach the subconscious hard drive. This is why effort-based change often triggers internal resistance. You feel a tug of war inside yourself. One part of you wants to be different, while another part of you lists all the reasons why you can't be. But when the consciousness loosens during hypnagogia, that resistance dissolves. Think of your identity as wet cement. During the day, the sun is out and the cement is baked hard. You can try to scratch a new name into it, but it takes immense effort and the results are shallow. But in the hypnagogic state, the sun has gone down and the cement has become soft and wet again. Anything you place there sinks in effortlessly. It becomes part of the very structure of the material as it sets overnight. This is the core revelation of sleep state uploading. Identity is most malleable when the self as you know it is falling apart. As you drift towards sleep, the I that has all the problems and the I that has the history begins to fade. In that fading, there is a vacuum. Whatever you fill that vacuum with becomes the new baseline. You are not trying to believe something, you are allowing a new reality to be imprinted. In this state, thoughts are not just ideas, they are felt realities. If you think of a feeling of success in hypnagogia, the brain doesn't analyze it. It simply records the neural signature of success. It is like a system booting without restrictions. There are no access denied messages. There is no one there to say this isn't true. There is only the sensation and the recording of that sensation. This is why many people who struggle with traditional meditation find this state so much more accessible. It doesn't require you to clear your mind or focus. It only requires you to observe and gently steer the natural dissolution of your consciousness. You are catching the mind in its most vulnerable and creative state. You are working with the grain of your biology rather than against it. When you understand this, the pressure to fix yourself during the day disappears. You realize that the heavy lifting of identity engineering happens in the quietude, in the soft, blurred edges of the night. If this is revealing something you felt before but never understood, hit like so this reaches others who pass through this state every night without realizing its power. The power of this process lies in its lack of struggle. It is the ultimate path of least resistance. You are essentially bypassing the egoic structure entirely. You are not arguing with yourself. You are simply providing the subconscious with a new blueprint while the architect is asleep.
To engage in sleep state uploading is to shift from the role of a commander to the role of a receiver. In our daily lives, we are used to doing. We believe that to get something, we must act. To change, we must work. But uploading an identity is a process of allowing. It is about the quality of the signal you provide as you cross the threshold of sleep. When we talk about uploading, we are describing the process of letting language, imagery, and feeling merge naturally in the mind without the interference of the how. In the hypnagogic state, the subconscious mind does not understand complex logic, but it understands the language of frequency and impression. It is less about what you say and more about the flavor of the thought you carry into the dark. If you carry the flavor of lack or worry into sleep, that is the identity the system reinforces. But if you carry the flavor of the identity you wish to inhabit, the system accepts it as the new default. This is why calm beats intensity every time. During the day, we think we need to be passionate or intense to manifest change, but intensity often signals to the brain that something is wrong or that we are trying too hard. In the hypnagogic window, intensity can actually wake you up and kick you back into beta. The key is a steady, neutral, calm observation of the desired state. It is the difference between shouting a command and whispering a secret. The subconscious hears the whisper much more clearly. Repetition across nights is also more important than the effort put into a single night. This is because the brain is building new neural pathways, and like any physical structure, these pathways are strengthened through consistent, gentle use. Each night you spend in the upload state, you are layering the new identity. You are making it normal. The subconscious mind is the guardian of what is normal for you. It doesn't care if a habit is good or bad, it only cares if it is familiar. By repeatedly introducing the feeling and the mental image of your new identity in the state of hypnagogia, you are bypassing the weirdness factor. You are making the new version of yourself feel familiar to your nervous system. When the new identity feels more familiar than the old one, the transformation is complete. It is a process of absorption. You are letting the subconscious soak in the new code. You don't need to check the progress. You don't need to wonder if it's working. You simply provide the material and let the biological machinery of sleep do the rest. It is a form of deep trust in the mind's ability to reorganize itself. Language in this state should be simple and sensory. Instead of complex goals, focus on the sensation of the result. If you want to be a person who is at peace, don't think about peace as a concept. Feel the heaviness of your limbs and the quietness of your heart as if that peace is already your only reality. Let the word peace drift like a cloud through your mind. Let it merge with the darkness behind your eyes. This is how the upload happens, not through a forceful command, but through a gentle, persistent invitation.
This brings us to the concept of identity engineering without struggle. We have been conditioned to believe that the more something matters, the more we must suffer for it. We think that if we want to change a deep-seated part of our personality, it must require a heroic battle of the will. But the subconscious does not respond to battle, it responds to alignment. When you are in the hypnagogic state, you are in a state of natural alignment. You are not trying to be someone else, you are simply experiencing the isness of a new state of being. Stillness is a form of power that we rarely utilize. In the stillness of the pre-sleep state, you are at your most powerful because you are at your least resistant. When you stop doing, you allow the deep intelligence of your nervous system to take over. This intelligence knows how to heal the body, how to regulate your heartbeat, and how to process your memories. It also knows how to rebuild your self-concept if you give it the right instructions. Identity is not installed through willpower, it is accepted through state alignment. If your state, your internal feeling tone, is one of ease and already having, then the subconscious accepts the new identity as a present reality. It doesn't know the difference between a memory of the past and a vividly felt impression of the future. By engineering your identity in this state, you are taking the path of the effortless update. You are avoiding the rebound effect where, after a day of trying to be positive, you collapse into your old habits because you are exhausted. When you upload in the sleep state, there is no exhaustion, there is only rest. You are literally sleeping on it, but with a precision that most people never apply. You are making stillness your laboratory. This approach is profoundly empowering because it removes the failure element. You cannot fail at drifting into sleep, you are going there anyway. You are simply choosing to steer the ship rather than letting it drift. You are turning a passive biological process into an active creative act. As you become more practiced at this, you will notice that the you who wakes up in the morning feels slightly different. Not because you did a lot of work, but because you allowed a new version of yourself to be set in the quiet hours. It is a subtle, deep, and lasting form of change. It is the difference between painting a wall and changing the color of the bricks themselves. One is a surface application, the other is a structural transformation. This is the beauty of working with the hypnagogic state. It is the most direct path to the structural level of the human psyche. You are working with the clay of your mind while it is at its softest. You are letting the natural rhythm of your life work for you.
As you begin to consistently program your identity in this state, you will start to notice what we call reality effects. These are not just feel-good internal changes. They are observable shifts in how you interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. When your internal code changes, your output changes automatically. You might find yourself making a different decision at work without having to think about it. You might notice that your reaction to a stressful situation has suddenly become calm, as if the old trigger has been deactivated. These are signs that the identity upload has taken hold. This is what it means to align your timeline. You are no longer trying to get to a better future, you are operating from an identity that already exists in that future. Your behavior becomes an after effect of your new identity rather than a precursor to it. You aren't acting as if, you are acting as. Perception is another area where the change becomes evident. Because your subconscious is now primed with a new set of instructions, it begins to filter your environment differently. You start to notice opportunities that were always there but were previously invisible to your old self-concept. It's like updating the software on a camera. The lens is the same, but the processor can now see more colors and more detail. This is often where people experience what they call synchronicities. It feels like the world is suddenly aligning with your new direction. But from the perspective of sleep state uploading, this isn't magic, it's coherence. When your internal identity is no longer in conflict with your external goals, the friction of life begins to disappear. Things feel closer.
The gap between a thought and its realization begins to shrink. Reality begins to rearrange itself around the most stable point in your consciousness, your identity. This is why the state of neutrality during the upload is so important. If you are too excited or too desperate, you are signaling that the reality you want is far away or difficult. But if you are calm and certain, you are signaling that it is here and normal. The world responds to normal. It reinforces what you believe is standard for you. As your identity stabilizes in the subconscious, the external reality has no choice but to follow. It is a slow, steady, and inevitable movement. It's like the tide coming in. You can't see it moving, but if you look away and look back, everything has changed. You are not manifesting a new world, you are becoming the person for whom that world is the only possible reality. This is timeline alignment in its most grounded form. It is the result of a mind that is no longer divided against itself. As you begin this journey of conscious identity uploading, remember that the mind already knows how to do this. You have been doing it every night of your life. You are simply now choosing the contents of the update. To support this shift, it is often helpful to have a framework for the language you use in those final moments. This is where tools like the magic of affirmations can serve as a powerful companion. It is not about forcing words, but about finding the specific resonant frequencies that speak to your subconscious. Think of it as a dictionary for your new identity, providing the raw materials that you can then let dissolve into your hypnagogic state. It is a way to reinforce the language of your new self-concept during the day, so that by the time you reach the bed at night, the thoughts are already familiar and ready to be uploaded. This is about making the transition as seamless as possible. The more you immerse yourself in the feeling and the language of your desired state, the more effortlessly you will slip into it as you fall asleep. Your mind is a vast, beautiful, and highly sophisticated system, and you are the one who holds the power to direct its evolution. The process of sleep state uploading is an act of self-care and self-mastery. It is a way of saying that your identity is not something that happened to you by accident, but something you are choosing with intention. As you lie down tonight and you feel that familiar heaviness start to settle into your limbs and the world starts to fade into that quiet gray mist, pay attention. What do you notice about your thoughts or sense of self right before you fall asleep? Don't try to change it at first, just observe the operating system as it prepares to update. Notice the images, the fragments of sentences, the shifting sensations. This is the moment. This is your doorway. You don't need to struggle. You don't need to work. You only need to be there, present at the threshold, carrying the quiet, steady impression of who you are becoming. The mind knows the way. The state of hypnagogia is not a place to lose yourself, but a place to find the version of yourself you have always been meant to inhabit. It is a return to your most plastic, most creative, and most powerful self. Trust the process. Trust the silence. Trust the darkness. Your new identity is already there, waiting to be accepted. All you have to do is drift into it.